The impudence of the Wall Street finance oligarchy knows no bounds. This week we've had the sleazy Axelrod sent out by Obama to announce that the Bush-era tax cuts for the rich, the trickle-down economics, will be perpetuated. The Democratic Party platform now includes tax cuts for the rich, the preferential position of the Democratic Party now to cut taxes for super-rich plutocrats, finance oligarchs, parasites, profiteers, and other oppressors of the people. Of course, they've got to be redefined as job creators. They're job creators, and the idea, of course, is even a one-year extension of tax cuts for the rich is not enough, because if it's only for a year, then you're not going to go out and create jobs with the money. Well, surprise, surprise, they don't create jobs with that money, no matter how long it lasts. These tax cuts for the rich have been in effect for 7 or 8 years now, and the money has not flowed into productive plant and equipment, new productive jobs. It flows into hedge funds. It flows into Goldman Sachs collateralized debt obligations like timberland and other blank deals, as various senators described them. And it also goes, of course, to emerging markets, right? What has bid up the Brazilian currency by 35% is hot money from U.S. plutocrats. So these job creators don't create jobs. They create speculative monstrosities. So the idea now is Wall Street got theirs. The plutocrats of all types are getting theirs, and you pay. Here's the list of sacrifices for you. And remember, there's not a word about Wall Street coughing up anything. Wall Street doesn't exist. It's the elephant in the room, and they claim that the sacred cows are all on parade. So here's the idea. Let's look at some of this stuff. $100 billion cuts in defense spending. Well, that might sound good on the surface, but remember, those high-tech assembly lines that produce weapon systems represent one of the very few economically viable sectors that we still have. Those have got to be reconverted. They've got to be switched over to civilian production of nuclear reactors, high-speed rail, scientific equipment. They've got to move massively into aerospace and space exploration, colonization, and industrial production on the nearby bodies of the solar system. But there's no money in this for that. This is a budget of national suicide that these people are creating. So leftists are supposed to drool because $100 billion is being cut out of defense spending. I don't think this is a great idea. If that's all you do, all you're going to be doing is throwing a lot of people out on the street. Social Security, now they're not as aggressive here as they might have been, but it's unacceptable. They want to raise the retirement age for Social Security to 68 and to 69 instead of 67 right now. If you're a retiring baby boomer, post-war generation, you get a 67-year age requirement for the full Social Security benefit. That's thanks to old reactionary Senator Moynihan, the notorious right-wing Democrat who these austerity ghouls look up to. So we reject the raising of the Social Security age. What if you're a truck driver? Or what if you're a manual laborer? Or what if you work on construction? This is crazy. Well, they have some escape clauses for that, but no. Raise the gasoline tax by 15 cents. Are we nuts? Regressive taxation? This is a regressive tax. This falls on the necessities of the poor. It falls on the amenities of the middle class. It does not touch the obscene luxuries of the finance oligarchs, right? David Koch and his crew down there in Palm Beach won't even notice a 15-cent gasoline tax, but you will. The corporate income tax rate is lowered to 26%. Are we nuts? We need aggressive enforcement of the corporate income tax we have now because it's not being paid. The other attempt to shift the burden of the depression to the middle class, the working poor, and the poor, to scrap all deductions on mortgages over $500,000. Well, $500,000 won't buy much in this real estate market. This represents the breaking of a trust, and again, it is absolutely unacceptable. Oh no, we just had an election. Jobs, jobs, jobs. The name of the game is jobs, job creation. What does the Cat Food Commission, the Bowles-Simpson BS Commission recommend? Let's cut the federal workforce by 10%. Yes, let's create 200,000 to 300,000 new unemployed to go with the 100,000 jobs that have already been lost in the U.S. Postal Service. They need to be modernized and redirected, not fired. But the BS Commission says, let's cut the federal workforce by 10%. And indeed, there are stories, I think some of these accounts say they want to cut the pay for the existing federal force by 10%. So I think they want to get a double whammy on the federal workforce. Well, those people never caused the Depression. They didn't work for Bear Stearns. They weren't investment bankers for Lehman Brothers. They didn't run AIG into the ground. They were not part of Merrill Lynch and their collateralized debt obligation orgy. They were not part of Citibank when it went bankrupt, 2-3 times. They're not part of Citibank and Bank of America today as they teeter on the brink. But you get the idea. The bailout, the TARP, has shifted a great part of the burden and the wreckage of the Depression onto the federal government, partly because of the direct payments to zombie bankers, hedge fund hyenas, and asset strippers in the form of the Troubled Asset Relief Program for derivatives, and then partly through the declining tax revenues and the increasing payments for unemployment benefits and related things that go up in a depression. Those are sacrosanct. Those are a sacred trust, because you're talking about your labor power. You're talking about your human capital and mental capital. What possible advantage does the United States have as a national economy? We've still got a fairly decently trained workforce. You want to destroy that? You want to destroy your middle-class workforce in the name of bigger and better bailouts for this tiny cabal of zombie bankers in Wall Street? Not good economics. Not good. So they want to gouge $3.8 trillion out of the budget over the coming years. Now, the most sinister, we now have to direct the attention of Bowles and Simpson to the Nuremberg precedents. If you deprive a civilian population of adequate medical care, you may be guilty of high crimes against humanity in the definition of the Nuremberg Code, and the punishment for that is not pretty. You can remember what happened to some of the Nazi bigwigs at Nuremberg precisely because of actions like these. So we're told that the Bowles-Simpson blueprint, says the Washington Post, which of course is enthusiastic about this new bold step, the Bowles-Simpson blueprint would leave in place the Obamacare. In other words, it won't do anything about the $1.5 trillion cut in Medicare that Obama got in with this reform of his, so-called. It would also strengthen the cost-cutting mechanisms in the law that seek to squeeze savings from Medicare. Death panels. Those are death panels. Where's Sarah Palin now that we need her? Where are the reactionary Republicans? Let's get them out attacking the Bowles-Simpson Commission. They want death panels. That's called IMAC or MedPAC on steroids. We'll get to this in a minute. Death panels demanded by Bowles-Simpson. Down with Bowles-Simpson, and we'll be back in a minute.